Hey, Algebra 2, what's happening? Stir up here. Let's see, we're going to do 11C. Hopefully things are going well for you. And so we're just going to jump right in and move on to this. So how would we solve these equations? Well, nice thing to do, and we've done this quite a bit, and you've done it in other classes. So let's clear the denominator. So I'm going to multiply each part of this by 6. So that reduces, so I get 2x. That reduces, that gives me 3, and that's equal to 60. And then subtract 3, divide by 2. So 57 over 2, check to see if it reduces. It won't. So we're all set. Okay, now on this one, we could distribute the 1/4 over, or I could just multiply this by 8 and this by 8. And if I do that, that becomes a 2, and then I'm going to distribute 2 over the parentheses now. Subtract 10. So x equals negative 7 over 2. Cool. All right, so what about this one? So same exact concept. Let's clear the denominator. One thing we have to know that is that x can't equal 0, okay, on our original problem. Because if I plug that back, if I had 0 in there, I would have undefined terms. So, but I'm going to multiply all three of my terms by 2 and x. And if I do that, x reduces, so that gives me 8. 2 reduces, so that gives me 5x. And then x reduces, so that gives me negative 22. Subtract 8 from both sides. So x is equal to negative 6. And remember we said it couldn't equal 0 originally, so negative 6 is definitely not 0, so we're fine. Okay, so for the next one, we have 3 terms. I'm going to multiply all 3 terms by x minus 2. So it cancels here, so I get 5x. 7 has to get distributed over this, so I get 7x minus 14. And then it cancels here, so that's plus 10. Subtract that, so I get negative 2x over here. And I get minus 4, and x is equal to 2. Okay, so my friends, this seems like a great answer. But what happens if I plug 2 back in to my original? That won't work. This is an extraneous solution. Okay, so there's actually no solution to this problem. Even though it worked out so nicely, it's because if I plug that 2 back into the original, I would get an undefined term. All right, on this one, I have to realize that that's x plus 1 and x minus 1 if I factor that. So I'm actually going to multiply all 3 terms by x plus 1 and x minus 1. Oh, that should be a minus 1, sorry. Okay, so from there, the x plus 1's cancel, so then I get 4x plus 1 and x minus 1. These all cancel on this one, so that just gives me 12 plus 3. And then realize, remember, if I multiply x plus 1 and x minus 1 together, I get x squared minus 1. All right, so let's go ahead and figure out the rest of this problem. We'll FOIL out this side, so I'm going to get 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 is minus 3x minus 1 equals 12 plus 3x squared minus 3. All right, so let's move everything to the left side. So if I move this over here, I'm going to get just x squared. And if I combine both of those together, that gives me 9. So I'll bring the 9 over. The 3x is left alone for right now. Come on. 3x. And then 12 minus 3 is 9. If I subtract 9 from that, I'm going to get to negative 10. Now it's equal to 0. Factor that. Come on. So I get x minus 5 and x plus 2. And those are equal to 0. So I get 5 as an answer, and I get negative 2 for an answer. don't know why my pen's being goofy on me. So let's double check those up above. If I take 5 or -2 and plug it into the original, they both work, which is great. I'm going to undo this from being. Sorry about that. I just didn't like seeing my keyboard was in my way. All right, so let's move on. So our next problem, I'm going to multiply all three terms by x and x plus 1. And if I do that, the x's cancel out here, so I get 3 and x plus 1 minus, because of that subtraction, x plus 1's cancel, minus 2x, and then the x cancels. So I get 3x plus 3 minus 2x, oops, plus 3 minus 2x equals 4x plus 4. Combine like terms on the left, so I'm going to get x plus 3 on the left equals 4x plus 4. Subtract x, so I have 3x. Subtract 4, so I have -1. So I get an answer of x equals -1 over 3. And if I plug -1 over 3 into either of the places or any of the places I had x above, that still works, so that's a great solution. We do need to recognize that this is going to be 2x plus 3 and 2x minus 3, difference of 2 squares. So I'm going to multiply all three terms by this. Okay, and I'm not going to write it up there. I'm going to do this. So this will be 2x minus 3 because the 2x plus 3 is canceled. This is going to give me 2x plus 3 because the 2x minus 3 is canceled. And this side is just going to give me 14x plus 3. Let's go ahead and distribute over the parentheses. So I'm going to get 10x minus 15 plus 8x plus 12 equals 14x plus 3. Combine like terms, so I'm going to get 18x minus 3 equals 14x plus 3. Subtract 14x, so I get 4x over here. Add 3, so I get 6 over here. So x is equal to 6 over 4. 6 over 4 reduces to 3 over 2. And if I take 3 over 2 and I plug it in right here, don't I get 3 minus 3, which becomes 0? So this is not a solution, so we actually have no solution to this. Okay, if I plug 3 over 2 back in on this one right here, or if I plug it in on this one right here, I'm going to wind up getting 0 in the denominator. Problem number 8, again, usually these tricks are this is what it would factor to. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply all three terms by x minus 4, x minus 2. So I get 2, because everything would cancel out, time equals 1, x minus 2, because the x minus 4s would cancel out, plus x minus 4 cancel out, so times 2, and I have x minus 4 here. Distribute over parentheses. Combine like terms. So add 10, so that's going to give me a 12 over there. Equals 3x, so x is equal to 4. If I plug that right in there, I get undefined, because it's divided by 0, so I have no solution. That's called an extraneous solution. Number 9, I get x plus 1 and x minus 1. I'm going to multiply all three terms by that. So this first one, I'm going to get 5x plus 1 minus 2x squared minus 1 equals 14. Everything would cancel out if I multiply by x plus 1 and x minus 1. Distribute over the parentheses. So I get 3x squared plus 5x. If I move the 14 over, minus 12. And I would bet you that this is going to factor out. So I'm going to get 3x and x. would probably get a 4 here and a 3 here. See if that's going to work. So that's 4x, 9x. That gives me, that works. So that's going to be my positive, my negative. So does that work to get my, I get the negative 12 definitely. Negative 4x, positive 9, yep, that works. So each of those equal to 0, so I get x equals 4 over 3. And x equals negative 3. If I plug either of those into my original, do I get 0 on the bottom? I don't, so I have two solutions here. All right, so the complex fraction, remember it's this, 2 over 3 times 5 over 1. You'd flip over the bottom, reduce top to bottom if you can. If not, 10 over 3 is your answer. Okay. So what else we got? Oops, there was one problem back there. Was there a problem back on this page? I forgot. There was. Sorry about that. All right, so what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to make that 3 over 3. So I get 3 plus x, excuse me, over 3. Make that 2 over 2, which gives me 2 minus x over 2. And I get 3 plus x over 3 times 2 over 2 minus x. Reduce where you can. Doesn't look like, so I'm going to get 2 times x plus 3 times 3 times, and I'll make that a negative. I'm going to switch these signs. And there's my answer. Last problem done the exact same way. So multiply that by 3 over 3. So I get 3 plus x over 3 to make that 2 over 2. Did I just do this problem? Maybe I did. I did. Same exact problem as last time. Okay, hope this helps you. Have a great day, everybody. Take care of one another.